Hi, welcome to How to Sew with Laura. I am your guide to all things design. Today we're going to learn how to cut a pattern from a fabric. We're using a cotton batiste, and it is a very lightweight, easy to sew, easy to trace fabric. I have the pattern, the same pattern that I was using for the cotton eyelet top, and this particular batiste is actually going to be inside the cotton eyelet. It's going to line that cotton eyelet, give it a little bit of contrast at the edges. So let's get to it. So this is a cotton batiste. It's got a little bit of sheer to it. It's very lightweight. It's great for summer tops and skirts and dresses, and even for men's lightweight shirts. It comes in an abundance of colors. You can get it all over the place in different colors. It comes in different qualities depending on where you source it from. I get this from, this is American made, and it's organic, and it's a really nice quality. I really like it. It has just enough body. It's not limp. And yet it has a really nice light weight to it, so it's great for summer. So I have my scissors, I have my chalk, I have my pattern pieces, and I have my weights, which weigh down the pieces so that I can mark the pattern. The way that I make my patterns, I fold my fabric. So I don't have a wide open full body pattern piece. I have a half of a pattern piece, and so I always put it on the fold of the fabric. So what I'm going to show you is basically we'll do, I have a very wide piece of batiste, and I make sure that when I am folding it that it is perfectly lined up. Okay. So I line up my center of my pattern where it says center front on fold. I line it up with the fold of the fabric. I make sure that I have enough fabric to cut the whole piece. I put a weight to hold it down, hold it in place. I take my chalk. This is a really cool chalk. It's I just have to remember which way it goes. It's Japanese. And there's like, this is a hard plastic case, and then the chalk is inside, and it has this funny little wheel, and it makes a funny noise when you do it, but it goes right up against the edge of the pattern. And so you can mark, and it just comes off pretty easily too. So really, it's so temporary, but it gives you a really accurate line so that when you're ready to cut it, when you take your pattern piece off, you can see it perfectly. Now personally, I typically, I'm such a shortcut person. Oftentimes when I'm not demonstrating the right way to cut a pattern piece, I will actually just take my scissors and cut around the pattern without tracing. It's a shortcut. I shouldn't be doing it, but I do it anyway. Don't do this at home, as they say. So what I'm doing in this pattern is there's a line. So I have my long piece for my full blouse, but this piece is just going to line the inside, and it's going to cut to the midriff, so I'm only going to cut that lining piece on here. Okay, so I've traced everything, including my notches, including where my my line's going to go straight across. I remove my weight carefully so as not to dislodge the pattern too much. Move my pattern piece, and you see the outline except for that one piece where all I have to do is take a ruler, line it up, and make my wheel go all the way across. So now I've got my full set. Now what I do is I put my weight back on my fabric because remember, it's folded over. So I've got, you know, when I open it up, it's going to open up as the full front. Now, I like to stand up when I cut, and you try to be as accurate as you possibly can and cut on the inside of your line or exactly on your line, because you want to be as accurate as you possibly can. If you're going to cut, you know, outside of the line, you will get something that's larger than you actually need, and it may distort. As I'm cutting, I cut my notches, and I typically just cut just enough so that I'll be able to find it and see it. Now, just enough is a relative term. On a batiste like this, you only really need to cut about 1/8 of an inch. If you had a big, nubby wool, you're going to want to cut a little bit deeper because you're going to need to find that notch in all the texture. So the more texture your fabric has, the deeper your notch is going to have to be. If you notice, I just moved my weight so that I could get around this curve and allow my fabric to bend so that I can cut the curve. And I have 2 notches over here, little corner. So I just cut my little bit in there. We've cut the first piece. Now, if you notice, I didn't fold my fabric exactly in half, selvage to selvage, and the finished edge of a fabric is the selvage. I didn't do that because I need to make two folds, one for the front piece and one for the back. And I'm very conservative. I don't like to waste fabric, so I just cut my front piece. We will put it over here. Then I have enough fabric left over to fold and cut my back piece. And so, not to bore you with doing it again, but we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other piece. We're going to line it up, we're going to trace it out, and we're going to cut it. Thank you. Thank you for watching today. Next time, we're going to learn how to do a French seam, which sounds really fancy, but it's not so fancy. It's pretty easy. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our weekly How to Sew videos. Leave your questions, video suggestions, and comments below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Laura Tanzer.